The shooting in Texas, call it terrorism, because that is what it is, and then start pointing out how media is making even contacts without any context being enough to label you a traitor. I'm conservative and gay. I have no desire to be heading into gas chambers because some are so fragile they will dehumanize a whole group of people to hide from their mistakes. If Democrats controlled the Congress, could Maxine Waters have been the next McCarthy? Because there is definitely a red scare going on. Everywhere you look, any contact with Russians is seen as traitorous behavior. And we don't even know, other than there was propaganda involved. The only thing missing from today's Red Scare and McCarthyism is the opposition is not in control of the Congress. Message by Democrats and mass media is fear-mongering, using a flimsy ideal of collusion, forgetting no voting machine was hacked. All you have is propaganda. To build an ideal of impeachment, they are throwing legal yet politically bad marketing talks with Russians to scare America, just to undo an election of a constitutionally elected president. They need Trump's polls to crash to scare Republicans in Congress. What they lack is the understanding unnamed sources require is to trust the judgment of media. Yet their prophecy of Hillary landslide ignored the actual polls. They reported themselves daily during the entire election. Consider 3 times Maryland, Texas, and likely Las Vegas, we have had attacks, 2 of them very deadly, of groups that are seen as supporters of Donald Trump. Media insist evidence exists for impeachment, yet Republicans haven't yet started it. Reason is, there is no illegal behavior. Propaganda was used, but I still remember Trump campaign. You can't convince me he had run a blemish-free campaign. He damaged himself every time he opened his mouth. And yet they swear up and down, somehow or another, collusion is the only answer. Instead of the actual fact that nobody liked either candidate, and they insisted Trump couldn't win, angering us and telling the Hillary voters to stay home. Their vote wasn't necessary. That's how this happened. And that is the only area of why we now have Donald Trump in presidency. You have a shocked group that listened to the media prophecy Hillary couldn't lose. They don't want to face that it was them that was misled. Their whole belief system is based on their superiority and intelligence being higher than so-called Trump supporters. If collusion doesn't exist, then they must face the fact that Trump voters were not misled. It was the Hillary voters who stayed home because media insisted Trump could win. So media wants a redo instead of facing consequences, and the voters that stayed home were desperate to maintain their self-image of superiority over the ignorant Trump voters. That's how we got here, and that it's time for them to face reality and stop the codependency between the media and liberals that are shocked that they were the ones misled.